The golden age of piracy, a time when the seas were both a promise and a peril. A time of vast empires, their greedy fingers clutching at the riches of the New World, driven by an insatiable hunger for wealth and power. Spain, with its silver fleets laden with treasure, ruled the waves, their galleons a formidable sight on the horizon. From the Caribbean to the Pacific, their galleons sailed, a symbol of power and oppression, casting a long shadow over the seas. But even in the face of such might, resistance flickered, like a candle in the dark, defying the storm. This is the story of one such flame, a man who dared to challenge an empire, Captain Edward Blackheart Teach, a name that would become legend. Little is known for certain about Teach's early life, a fact that has only served to bolster his legend, shrouding him in mystery. Some whispered he was a privateer, his thirst for justice twisting into a hunger for gold, driven by a desire for freedom and fortune. Others claimed he was a nobleman's bastard, cast out to seek his fortune on the high seas, a man with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Whatever his origins, Teach emerged from obscurity, a force of nature in a tricorn hat and a beard wreathed in smoke, a figure both feared and revered. He became a symbol of defiance, a nightmare to the Spanish, and a beacon of hope to the downtrodden, a legend that would endure through the ages. The salt air, the cry of gulls, the endless horizon, these were the things that shaped Edward Teach. From a young age he was drawn to the sea, its mysteries and its promises calling to him like a siren's song. Born in the shadow of empire, he bore witness to the injustices inflicted upon ordinary sailors. The bustling port city was a melting pot of cultures and stories, each ship that docked bringing tales of distant lands and perilous journeys. He saw the brutal hand of the Spanish, their greed knowing no bounds. The sight of Spanish galleons, laden with treasures plundered from the New World, left a lasting impression on him. He felt the sting of inequality, the way power could corrupt even the noblest of hearts. The harsh treatment of sailors and the opulence of the wealthy elite fueled a growing fire within him. The sea, however, offered freedom and opportunity. It was a place where a man could reinvent himself, where the rules of the land did not apply. It was a harsh mistress, but a fair one, judging a man by his courage and skill, not his birthright. The sea tested every sailor, rewarding those who could master its challenges. Teach learned the ways of the waves, rising through the ranks of merchant vessels and privateer ships. He became adept at reading the winds and currents, understanding the language of the sea. He learned the arts of navigation and seamanship, the thunder of cannons and the cut of a blade. Each lesson was hard-earned, each skill a testament to his determination. But most importantly, he learned the language of defiance. The way a single ship could become a storm that threatened to capsize an empire. Edward Teach, known to history as Blackbeard, was a man born to the sea, and it was the sea that would define his legacy. The line between privateer and pirate was a thin one, easily blurred by greed or necessity. For Teach, that line was crossed when he joined the crew of Captain Benjamin Hornigold, a notorious pirate captain who terrorized Spanish shipping lanes. Under Hornigold's tutelage, Teach honed his skills, his reputation growing with each daring raid and daring escape. When Hornigold accepted a pardon from the English crown, Teach refused to follow. He had tasted freedom and there was no going back. He raised his own black flag, a fearsome skull with smoldering eyes set against a field of black, and christened his ship the. Thus began the reign of Blackbeard, a name whispered in terror from the taverns of Tortuga to the palaces of Spanish governors. Blackbeard was not content with mere plunder. He was driven by a deeper ambition, a desire to carve his name into the annals of history. He sought to disrupt the very fabric of Spanish power, to strike fear into the hearts of their captains and sow chaos in their trade routes. His attacks were not random, they were meticulously planned to inflict maximum damage. He targeted not only treasure ships but also supply lines, crippling Spanish operations in the Caribbean. By attacking supply lines, he ensured that the Spanish fleet would be weakened and less able to defend their territories. His tactics were as audacious as they were effective. Blackbeard's daring maneuvers and relentless assaults left his enemies in disarray. He cultivated an image of terrifying brutality, weaving his beard with lit fuses and strapping pistols across his chest. This fearsome appearance was designed to intimidate and unnerve his foes even before the battle began. He understood the power of fear, using it to demoralize his opponents before a single shot was fired. The psychological warfare he waged was as crucial as the physical battles, but beneath the fearsome facade lay a cunning mind. Blackbeard was not just a brute, he was a master tactician who carefully plotted his every move. Blackbeard was a master strategist, exploiting the weather, the tides, and the very layout of the islands to his advantage. He knew the Caribbean like the back of his hand, using its natural features to outmaneuver his enemies. He turned the Caribbean into his own personal hunting ground, and the Spanish Main trembled at his name. His legacy of fear and dominance left an indelible mark on the history of piracy. One of Blackbeard's most audacious acts of defiance was the blockade of Charleston, South Carolina. For nearly a week, he held the port city hostage, demanding a chest of medicines in exchange for lifting the blockade. The audacity of his demand and the humiliation of the colonial authorities sent shockwaves through the colonies. This act, however, would prove to be a turning point. The governor of Virginia, Alexander Spotswood, saw Blackbeard as a threat that could no longer be ignored. He dispatched Lieutenant Robert Maynard, a seasoned naval officer, to hunt down and eliminate the pirate king. The final confrontation took place in a bloody battle off the coast of Ocracoke Island. Blackbeard fought with his legendary ferocity, but he was ultimately outnumbered and outgunned. Blackbeard's death, as dramatic and violent as his life, did little to diminish his legend. In fact, it only served to solidify his place in the pantheon of pirate lore. He became a symbol of resistance against tyranny, a romanticized figure who challenged the might of empire and lived by his own code. His exploits inspired countless others to seek their fortune on the high seas, further fueling the flames of piracy in the Caribbean. The golden age of piracy would continue for several more years, a testament to the enduring appeal of freedom and adventure that Blackbeard embodied. Centuries after his death, Blackbeard's name still resonates. He's a figure of fascination, his story told and retold in books, films, and songs. While some remember him as a ruthless villain, others see him as a folk hero, a symbol of rebellion against oppression. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. Blackbeard was a product of his time, a man shaped by the harsh realities of a world dominated by empires. He was neither hero nor devil, but a complex figure driven by ambition,